All right. So, welcome back, everybody, to the Second Scout podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, whether it's on Dabston's stream or on YouTube after the fact. I am your host, Potato RTS, and with me, as always, is DrDabston. And this week, we are joined by the new Low Elo Legends coordinator, Moketronics. How you doing,
That's
man?
right. Oh, not too shabby. How about you?
Fantastic. Glad to have you on. And Dabson, what have you been doing since we last recorded?
But kind of been all over the place. Haven't been able to play too much. Was at a bachelor party in Puerto Rico, so had a good
Oh
time
man,
there.
Game.
But still kept up a little bit of with the games the best I could as far as just score updates and things of that sort. Didn't really get to watch too much over the weekend or anything.
I gotcha. Any any crazy hangover type situations you found yourself in?
No, it wasn't anything too crazy. We deep sea fishing, surfing, casino, the usual stuff. But it was a real busy weekend.
There you go. All right. So Mo definitely wanted to get you on because some big news in the Low Elo Legends community since we last recorded, and that is Chewbacca, after we kind of busted him for his gold chain, has decided to step down uh, from running the Low Elo Legends events, and you, with some help of some others, have kind of taken the reins of that. So, kind of go over how that's gone.
Yeah, for sure. I guess like rolling back, since the earlier days of LEL, I was one of the first people who was kind of like helping out doing some of the day-to-day adminning of the events while participating, like verifying match results and stuff like that. But I think I was one of the only people who also then actually ran some side tournaments on the off weeks. Because sometimes it was on a Friday and there's people who can only play on the weekend, or there's weeks that we missed. So I actually got some time to use start.gg, set up some smaller tournaments, and basically Shu announced that he was going to be stepping down in a couple weeks, and the admins had some chats about, well, what are we going to do, and we don't want it to stop, and Shu certainly doesn't want it to stop either. And so I guess I was kind of the de facto choice, because nobody else was really absolutely gung-ho to be the person in charge, and somebody had to do it. So I figured, in the very short term at least, I'd step in. My Saturdays are pretty free for the next little while, which is why I've been able to attend a lot of the events. And I have some idea how start.gg works. So I was able to, since I was a previous admin, dupe out previous weeks, do the configuration, get the stuff updated, and post it up. So we'll see how the next few weeks go. And obviously, this is not from my side. I'm planning to be particularly permanent. I want to play in the events. You can't really play in the events if you're actually admitting them.
Yep. So you just hit on it. What's your experience while playing the events so far? How many have you kind of played in, and how have you done? Kind of talk about kind of the overall structure, what you like and have disliked.
Sure. I wonder how many I've played in. Probably at least 10. I've played more
Oh,
weeks than I've not.
there you go.
Fridays don't work for me because I'm working. I'm 9 to 5 Eastern time. I work a desk job, doing computer stuff. So I can't get on the Fridays when they were on. But most Saturdays for the most part I made. Generally been in the middle brackets. I'm generally been like a platinum diamond player. That the big ranking shuffle of season one bumped me up into diamond, like it did so many people. But this season, I haven't had a lot of time to play a lot of ranked. I'm sitting kind of mid platinum, I think, right now. I think I'm actually plat one, but like my ranking is higher than the average plat one because I haven't played many games.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, in terms of the actual events, the cool thing compared to a lot of the other events that are out there is the fact that we have brackets for different levels of skills, so that bronze and silver players can come in, play with some people who are in similar sort of position, have a good time, maybe win something. It's something that we were chatting about just the other day about, like, well, how much do prizes really matter to people? And it's like, well, probably for a lot of people, winning 20 or 30 bucks isn't going to suddenly, like, get them into the pro scene and like have them, blowing big money at the bar. But at the same time, there's something symbolic about that. So in terms of my playing in there, like I played in a bunch of the middle brackets, higher, lower middle brackets that have happened depending on the total turnout. I've won 2 of them. I've made it into the finals, I think, 2 or 3 more times. I think I tend to show better when I play in LEL than I do when I'm ranked. And yeah, had a blast. Met a lot of really cool people. My friends list on AOE has really expanded, and now I'm trying to run the thing.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Who's been your biggest nemesis?
That's what I was about to ask too. You just hit it perfectly. You got to have one at this point with playing that much.
Yeah, well, obviously, I played that like show match series against Stefan Lockie.
Okay.
And he has played more this season and is, I think, now like definitely in a higher bracket than I am in terms of jumping into LEL. So I can't even play against him if I participate. So yeah, I would say if there's a nemesis, it's like getting back to it. And geez, like when I played that show match, that was right at the beginning of season 2, and I was tilting so hard at the beginning of season 2. I think I went on like a 12-game losing streak.
Oof.
Like I just dropped and dropped and dropped.
I heard a lot of
like,
people kind of experience that kind of same thing, which that's a struggle. That's a hard wall to pass through.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, I just played through it. I've played other RTS. I've tilted before, and it's just like, fuck it. If you go down an entire rank, whatever. Sooner or later, you're going to break the tilt, and you're going to get back on the horse. And like, if you're playing against people 1 level below you, you're going to get back up quickly enough.
Yeah. Good way to look at it. That's kind of what I always say too. Some people have that fear of ranked, and a lot of times, and it's just kind of just go ahead and grind them out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, StarCraft 2 back in the day, I had like serious ladder anxiety for a while because like I did really well in like I think the first 2 seasons of StarCraft 2 coming out, like high diamond, did fucking amazing, and just got too invested. And then like got into like the 3rd season or so and was just like trying too hard and was like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's funny I say that as I haven't played ranked yet. I've just been playing random civs, quick match, but it's not really because I'm afraid of ranked. It's more because I want to just get my knowledge of all the civs much better, and I feel like it's one way you kind of learn their timings is to play as the civs. You don't really learn those playing against it unless your scouting is impeccable.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, I've played a lot of customs actually since season 2 started, more than ranked, with my buddy Quarfelberg and a couple other people I met in Low Elo Legends. Pretty much, yeah, playing new civs. I'm starting to pick up Bruce. Played my first quick match with him yesterday after playing a few custom matches with my buddy. And like, I feel like, yeah, in terms of like getting into being better, in terms of getting up into like higher platinum, diamond, and maybe eventually hitting Conqueror one day, is like you really fucking got to know the other civs. Like you really just do, and you got to spend some time playing them.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm sure the community definitely appreciates you stepping in and taking the reins for a little bit there. And definitely important right now to keep that going because there's been a influx of new players with some kind of price drops in various regions. So definitely hope they find you guys and join in and have some fun.
Yeah, it's neat to see. Like every single week, there's always new people coming on board. It's amazing that like is that every time you post that Reddit post or throw it up on social media or something, like there's a few more people trickling in who are just like, I've never done this before. This is so cool. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm always shocked to see that someone posts that and it's like, I can't believe I haven't heard of this. And you're like, it says Low Elo Legends like 16. Like this is clearly been around a little bit, but glad you're coming to it now. Welcome, welcome. I know some people have even joined where they played against people on the ladder and they've been like, hey, that was a really good match. You should check this out. And that's another good way if you're ever, wanting to expand some of these tournaments. It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, actually, 100%. That's how I literally know a few people personally that have been playing in LEL. Apollo Master was a guy that my buddy Quarfelberg played on the ladder the day of the like mini event that we ran, and we're like, we have an odd number of people. We got to get one more person. He's like, I just played this dude. Want me to message him?
Yeah.
And like now he's been in several events.
There you go. Yeah.
It's a really good community. So anyone out there who's not involved, even if you just like want a practice partner, you want to practice against a certain civ or a certain build, just hit up the Discord. There's plenty of people in there that'll help you out.
Yeah. And
the
we
very
can
least, we can throw some salt in our maximum salt channel.
yeah. And we can end up circling back a little bit to maybe the future of what we might be expecting from Low Elo Legends and some other things at the end, and once we kind of pass some of this middle stuff we're about to cover.
Sure thing.
For sure.
All right, so I think this dropped last Wednesday, right? And we ended up not recording, so it's a little bit dated news. But Age of Empires tweeted this out, and some expert cryptographers deciphered that there's going to be an announcement at Gamescom, and so we got some hints with the emojis. So we got we got the little camping guy, a rowboat, and a fireman. So expecting an expansion or something cool. So any guesses based on the emojis here?
I have seen everything all over the place. I know some of I think it's Gear of War who comes up with a lot of the Civ ideas, and it's kind of very historic with his research and everything. He mentioned Byzantines with the firemen. I think there was I'm already blanking. There was one of the nomad ones, maybe it was Turks. And then I personally said water, the boat could be a water rework. It doesn't have to be a Civ. It could say, hey, we're reworking water. It doesn't even have to go in depth into it. Just say something about that. And I think that would make people quite happy.
Yeah. And I think the initial reaction, if it was 2 Civs and a water rework, I think people would be initially disappointed that it wasn't 3 Civs, but a water rework is going to open up the game so much more, and just with these hybrid maps make them so much more dynamic. We kind of talked about that, I think, last time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be really excited if that was the case. Yeah.
Yeah, it would make perfect sense, and I think they could even go in depth into it. They mentioned a little bit about what we already know a future water rework is coming. I just think that them saying, hey, it's coming next patch, next big rework, then that would really, really be huge, especially for the tournament community. Imagine getting 2 new Civs right before Heidelberg.
That would be pretty hype. So Gamescom is next week, and I kind of looked at the schedule. It looks like all the Microsoft stuff is happening Thursday, so it'd be a week from tomorrow. So we will know something soon.
No,
and then, if we have any luck, yeah. We also got some caster information for Wololo. So the Age of Empires 4 casters, Drongo and Pigeon, and then Anili, who I'm sure will be doing both AOE2 and AOE4. Surprised it's only 3, because there's going to be a ton of games. They're going to be working pretty hard.
Didn't the fancy graphic thing they did have a bunch of other people in it, though?
Yeah, I'm presuming it's for Age of Empires 1 and 2, and then there's some alternative language broadcasters also.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I believe it was all the famous people from AOE2, and then just how you said a couple of the translator broadcasters. But obviously one of the big names that we've been missing
DrDabston
obviously had some Reddit posts about already is good old Lidicor. So that's the big drama here for a bit.
Yeah, he's my favorite caster. No offense, Dabston, but
I'm not. I take no offense to that. Obviously, I think he's a great caster as well. It's pretty surprised, just how you said with the short list, not to see him getting that invite as well.
Yeah. Well, when we interviewed him, he said he was going for his PhD, so he might just be too busy. I don't know.
Yeah, I there's probably more story to it, but who knows? Who knows? Nilly will have quite a bit of work, but I'm sure he will take up the reins and do a great job. And obviously, we have the hype Drongo and Pigeon there together, which will always be entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Dave will be there. Also, he cast at N4C, but he's been pretty outspoken against that. He just doesn't really like AOE4 as much, so I doubt he'll do it, but who knows?
I'm happy if Drongo's there. Drongo's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just had a kid, so surprised to see him making it out. But obviously, everyone loves to see that, and he hosted the Octagon, which got so much hype as well. So
Mhm.
has to follow it up strong.
I am pretty hyped to see Drongo and Pigeon casting together with a live audience. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's. I heard the tickets sold out quite fast. Actually, I don't know if any y'all two were trying to go. I was not. I was thinking about it, but after I saw some posts in the discords, it seemed like by the time people even realized tickets were available, they were even gone.
Yeah, how many tickets even were there?
I
I,
honestly have no
I
idea.
don't I don't even know how big the venue is.
Yeah, like I was under the impression it's a pretty intimate venue.
Yeah, yeah, that's my take as well. I didn't watch. I didn't watch last year's, but it seems small. So I can't imagine the crowd's going to be that big.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were trying to go, but Reddit said 100 tickets, so that would make sense. But you know, 100 tickets seems like they're going to go quite fast, and a lot of people are going to end up trying to go. So some people are going to end up missing out, but they can always try to go maybe to Wololo of the next year.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe
and
one day it will be like League of Legends and we'll fill like an entire soccer stadium.
That would be absolutely nuts.
um, I mean I remember those early like MLG days for StarCraft 2. Those were hype. So I'm excited for the first Age of Empires 4 tournament with a live audience. That's going to be fun.
No, it will be very very interesting to see. We're finally past the COVID times and don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, my my fever dream is Microsoft acquiring Activision and that they revive the MLG brand and just bring it back. Oh, that would make me so happy.
Yeah, yeah, you can always wish and hope.
All right. So we had a another weekly as we so the last weekly, so the monthly is this weekend. But see if I can pick the right one. Nope, that's wrong one. This one. So Puppy Paw ends up taking it. Pretty good run for him. He had to go through B and Marine Lord and Vortex, so definitely not an easy road for him to win this week.
No, not at all. And I think he didn't do too well the last week, so definitely made up for it and got the big dub, got some extra money in the pocket, and will be trying to play the show match here, I believe, before the monthly, and we'll have to kind of get those round robin games in.
What are those happening? Like 7
I
days?
think they schedule it throughout the week, and
Mm-hmm.
because it's like 6 or 7 of them, and then like the final two have the best record play before on Sunday.
Yep, that's right.
Um, and I'm not sure the exact structure of it. I think it's on Discord, but I think it might just be like regular, just 2 out of 3 series.
Mm-hmm. Um. Uh. So it's been 2 weeklies now on the new patch. I know you didn't get to watch much this week, but last week and sort of what you've seen so far. How do you think it's changed the pro game?
You know, in my opinion, I feel like at first everyone was like, "Oh, Mongol still like it doesn't have enough," and I feel like they kind of are surprising people with some of the wins that people have been playing them with. I still think some of the other civs have stayed kind of strong. Abbasid still has seen quite a bit of play on the open maps and things of that sort. So it's it's cool to see. I didn't get to watch the Kawasan. Is that what it's called? Kawasan? Is that the map?
With the two ponds.
Yeah.
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 So I didn't know. I didn't have any opinions on that. What did y'all think of that? Were there any kind of interesting games? I saw there were a little bit of complaints on it.
Yeah, it was like basically having to defend your dock in that little tiny like lakes. Like a bunch of games really like tilted back and forth based on that. Though there was oh shit, who was it that they ended up walling off like the two sides and the center was open. It was like a China versus something game, and it just got really messy.
Jeez.
I don't know. I feel a bit like that. That's like, kind of like that tree line map. Is that it's a bit gimmicky. It's a little all over the place, and it makes for some hilarious plays and also some kind of really weird games.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mongol TC rushes from 2 weeks ago were pretty funny.
When I first saw that, I was absolutely appalled, and it was very, very interesting to watch. Fun to see. I think if that happened to me, I would immediately quit the game. But that's what B is there for, is for those kind of off the wall strategies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Vortex did another one against BC where he was Absid and he chopped through really quick. He got the forestry really early, and then he just started flooding men at arms through.
And then was there another one later with Beastie, I think, that totally went the other way. That like China ended up like accidentally chopping through, but then it like no, they accidentally chopped through and suddenly flooded through without realizing it was going to happen. That neither one of them intended that for that.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the interesting things about that map. I think beforehand, a lot of people were hesitant about it and complaining about it. And then once we actually saw the games throughout, I think there was a lot more positive reaction than expected, which they kept it in the pool. We've realized now that they decided to update the map pool to say, hey, no new custom maps. We're kind of just going to work on refining the pool we have, which I think is a very good idea. They can make just little small changes to a lot of the maps to make them more interesting, and all the big complaints can go away.
Yeah, I saw they made some tweaks to Hill and Dale, so we haven't seen that map in forever. So it's coming back.
Yep, and I think Lipany and even some of the other ones are just gonna have small changes to it. Maybe fix that crazy spawning of the cliffs that we've been seeing quite a few of. But
also, Holy Island 1 week had like central, like two centered forests, like actual clumps of trees, and then the last I looked at it when we played it recently, that's gone again.
Okay.
Like basically, there was a forward tree line in front of each base, in between them, it's like just sent like either side of the center of the map.
Okay.
And that was like 2 weeks ago, and it's gone again. So they're clearly playing with them from week to week.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to update them, refine them, which is exactly what they should be doing. These players really can actually start practicing on the map pool that they have and get ready for the big event.
Yeah, if only we could get them on ladder.
Speaking of the big event, though, who after this, is it still Wham and Vortex at the top with Casva in third place? As far as the point ladder goes,
Vortex has got to be in first. Let me. Can't remember where it is.
I can probably get it pulled up. I just click the rules and go to standings from their Discord. We got Vortex in first with 130.
Yep.
Wham in second with 85. And Casva in third with 70.
Yeah.
So that 10 points now, is kind of the max.
Where's Lucifron at?
Lucifron is in fourth with 50.
Okay.
He just hasn't quite been able to break through that top 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
one time.
I would expect, two of those guys to kind of come through this weekend.
I would expect Wham Bam the man to get on through, but we have the brackets here in front of us. We can go ahead and make our picks if we so desire here, and see who can have the best fantasy bracket.
Let's speculate wildly.
Let's do it. All right.
I'm about to have a lot of fantasy football drafts. This can just get me warmed on up.
I just thought about this earlier, man. Is there like a bookie for Wololo?
I'm sure
I want to throw some money down for the main event.
What are the Vegas odds on it?
I'm sure there is. If not, we can make one happen.
Oh, I gotta find something. All right, let's do the top bracket first. Who you got, Dabs?
All right, we're gonna go. Vortex takes down Nyan. You know what? I'm gonna gonna go with a little upset here. I'm gonna go with Neutral Bear takes down Divine, with Vortex going down to the qualifying match of best of 7. Zerton is gonna play against Hut. Hut gets the dub there. Hut Vortex, and Vortex qualifies. Easy favorite.
All right, how about you?
Moke?
Yeah.
I mean, the Divine Neutral Bear is a tough call, but I'd like to see. I like some of the plays I've seen out of Neutral Bear in the last little bit, so I'd be leaning that direction too. But I mean, Vortex is the obvious favorite to get to those the qualifying matches. So and the other side, maybe Zerton. Zerton will beat out Hut and get through as well. I mean, yeah, basically it's hard to go any other way on that. I mean, I do like Hut as well. I might go Hut to get through, but I think Vortex would still take him.
Makes sense.
All right, so I'll take Vortex over Nyan Racing Cat. I gotta go with Divine, man. He's my guy. I don't know why, but he is.
It's the U.S. It's the U.S. Yeah.
the best U.S. player. Gotta root for him. Zerton, sort of. I think that's super interesting. Like, I doubt that's the one that's gonna be cast on EGC, but that might be the most even matchup. I'll go Zerton though, and then Hut and Keo, the two players that are screwed the most by the time zone. So whoever has the most Red Bull wins. I'm gonna go with Hut. And then let's see, Vortex goes to the final, and then I'll take Hut over Zerton, and then I think Vortex. Think he takes it.
Yeah, see, I think Zerton sort of. I don't think it's that close. I think Zerton easily takes that one down. I think he's been playing a lot better lately, and the recent games I've seen from sort of didn't look the most clean, and he needs to get some practice in here in the next couple of days before the big tourney.
Yeah, he hasn't been making it far in these weeklies, but every time I see him, like whoever he loses to, he takes games off of him. He just can't get it done.
No.
All right, bottom bracket.
I mean, Wham wins. I gotta go with my team in A, Canadians over here with Wham. Don moves on to take down Wham. Well, obviously to try to take down Wham, but Wham wins.
Say, whoa.
Yeah. Casva versus Eric. Casva gets the dub there. Lucifron versus Casva, and then
that's gonna be hype, by the way.
That's gonna be I think that's gonna be like the biggest and closest match. I'm gonna go with. I think Lucifron would be favored, but I'm gonna cheer for Casva, so I'm gonna go for Casva, and then it's gonna be Wham takes down Casva.
All right, Bo, who you got?
Sorry, wife and dog coming into the room.
No worries.
I mean, I'm Canadian. I'm rooting for Wham, and I think Wham's got it. Wham has done really well. He's come pretty damn close many times over. So I mean, Wham's going to take Recon. I mean, again, Don Artie is the obvious choice over Koinu. And then I mean, Wham's going to get all the way through, I think. Cast for Eric. Cast for I think is the obvious choice there. And happy to see if that game gets casted. And I don't know if I've ever seen an IM Magic game. Like, has any of them been casted?
I've casted a few. There might be one or two on my YouTube.
Really? So yeah. I mean, it's another Canadian. I should go take a look at that. I mean, Lucifron though, that's the name I know. I'd like to see Casva get through to the end there and go up against Wham. But I feel like Lucifron's the favorite.
Yeah, I think Lucifron would be the technical favorite.
I'm not gonna root for Casva.
So these are all best of fives, right?
Scroll up a little bit, it'll tell you. Down. It's like right above the bracket.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, best of fives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
I think Castle wins a best of 3, but I think Lucifron wins a best of 5. So yeah, I basically have the same thing as Dabston, except well, I'll have Lucifron going over Caspa, going off against Wham. And I'm gonna go with the conspiracy theory that Wham is just milking these monthlies.
He's just milking the monthlies for some
he's
extra money.
Yeah, he's milking the monthlies. So he's gonna wait till next month to qualify, right?
Yeah, what's the deal? So once you're qualified, like there's some rules as to what you can and can't participate in.
Once you're qualified, you don't get to play in the monthly. Instead, you get the chance to participate in the show match.
Oh, okay.
And that's basically the big difference there. You can still play all the weeklies, but the big thing is the monthlies. And I like the monthlies here compared to the last monthly. I felt like the last monthlies they were a lot more one-sided, and I feel like there's a lot of closer matchups with these. If I remember correctly, I think last monthly the beginning rounds, it was all 3-0s except maybe one of them was a 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one I think will be quite a bit different with all these matchups. I think any of these players have the opportunity to take one, even two games off their opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean we're really starting to kind of whittle down on the players that have kind of clearly separated themselves from the pack. So
we've clearly got our stars that are slowly but surely filtering out, the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah. So if kind of a Vortex or Wham Lucifron make it this time, that would pretty much be next monthly would be super interesting because you would have maybe whoever doesn't make it from Wham or Lucifron, and then maybe Caspa, and then after that, I mean it's wide open.
And all it takes is just one good day from someone like Don Artie or someone like Zerton or Neutral Bear or any of these players. They all have the opportunity to take one or two games. It's just all about being consistent and taking enough. If they have that good enough day, maybe they're just on point and qualify for the finals. It's just hard when you get to the best of 7 round, because that's really where your Civ pool has to run deep, as well as your drafting and your kind of matchup knowledge and reactions and plans.
Then in the weeklies last couple of weeks, we've seen some guys come back that have been away for a while. So Doubt has been playing, so he's qualified for AOE2, so maybe looking to do some double duty, and then Tato.
Could you imagine if you get into both and have to compete and do like both AOE2 and AOE4 the same week, like for the finals?
I think you would be happy about it, making quite a bit of money.
Viper's going to try it.
But yeah, Doubt, I actually hosted a good old show match with Doubt versus Snoopa. And Doubt looked pretty solid in that one, but Snoopa was a little bit out of practice. I know he has been back to playing more and starting to look better again, so might see some of these other names maybe getting closer in some of these weeklies and try to get into these monthlies.
Yeah, and then Tato qualified for Age of Empires 2, so he's another one of these guys that I saw him this week playing. So maybe gearing up for that last chance qualifier tournament.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I know he plays some team games with some buddies, and would love to see him grind 1v1s and get far in some of these tourneys too.
All right, so I think that's it for Red Bull anyway. Anything we want to add for Low Elo Legends?
Yeah. So kind of we can go off Red Bull. So a lot of these players, maybe you don't have enough weeklies to get through to try to qualify for the monthly. Well, to get better positioning and things like that, it's ATR points, and we all know the other tournaments are coming around, and some of the other tournaments have been expanding, and a few new ones have come around as well. Well, the War Chief Club and I think Low Elo Legends might end up doing a little combination come September, where it comes together and still has the weekly tournaments, which is more of a maybe potential play-in style. We're kind of figuring out the full structure, but that is for the bigger structure for the kind of War Chief Club part, and then still have the Low Elo Legends same old tournament on Saturdays. That opens split brackets to bronze, silver, however we really decide with the Elo based brackets.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like we chatted about, there's always a place that we want to have as like an entry point into playing tournaments where like you wake up on Saturday, it's like, hey, LEL's on. I don't have anything to do today after all. I can sign up last minute, no super specific commitment around like, like playing against all people of different levels and stuff like that. Get on, have some fun. But at the same time, like we're nurturing like the potentially pro gamers of the future. Like we want to have some ways in which people can kind of like level up and if they're ready to graduate into like a more serious commitment and like rank up those points and or rack up those points and start participating in other tournaments like TWC. Like it's a great fit to be able to have some kind of relationship there.
Yeah. Exactly. I know I played in a few way back when before I swapped back into the admin casting role, and then obviously got busy casting some of the other bigger EGC TV stuff, but still have joined in helping out with that process and plan on continuing to do so too. It's really kind of cool being early on playing on. It was definitely like that first step. It was so exciting playing a first tournament. It's so different being in a tournament structure and having some kind of nerves to it and being forced to play in a structure, new maps, whatever it really may be.
Yeah, I mean, heck, I probably would never learn nearly as many civs sooner rather than later if it wasn't for having civ bans. Getting in there and being like, I know how to play Delhi in French, and that's it. And you get to the best of three, and you're like, well, crap.
That's exactly what happened to me the first week. I was like, I'm comfortable on English and Abbasid. I'm good to go. And English gets banned, and I'm in a best of three, and I play Abbasid first. I get an easy win, and I'm like, all right, not as comfortable on the others. This is about to be a struggle. And I was like, I used to play some of these. Let's see how this goes. And it did not look good. Yeah. It's really kind of crazy to think how different you can be with different civs. And that was part of the reason I started kind of playing random civs.
Yeah, it's been an interesting piece of feedback, particularly from the like lowest brackets, like the bottom two brackets and stuff, like people coming in for the first time and saying like, oh my God, there's bans. What am I going to do? I only know how to play one civ. And like, that's kind of I think why we ended up on this thing of like, well, in the Swiss bracket, it's 4 or 5 matches and it's like one on, one off for ban, no ban, ban, no ban. So that like you have an opportunity to win with your best civ, but you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And that's part of the fun. Like I've had some games where I played against people, even up into like platinum and like diamond, where they're like, yeah, like crap, I really don't know that many civs. And we still had a good time. Still had some surprisingly good shows for people who didn't think that they could actually play like one of their off civs nearly as well.
Yep.
Very cool. So I know Shu used to do the streaming and casting. You going to take up that role as well?
This week, DrDabston's been kind enough to step in. I mean, it's one of the things that Shu learned from his work on this was that it's pretty hard to be the admin and the main caster. So unless somebody else is stepping up to the plate, basically, if Dabs is around, he can hold on and take it through. Askalad may be around for like being a co-caster or casting some of the later part of it, but he's going to be on a bit late. And I assume, hopefully, if I'm not crazy busy managing all the confusion and questions in the first part of it, I'll hop in and do a little co-casting and color commentary if there's a place for that. But I'm going to mainly focus on making sure that the wheels don't fall off the bike.
Yep, you know it. Exactly. So it is about to be a exciting venture for the first Low Elo Legends without Chewbacca.
Yeah, any aspiring casters out there also, I'm sure these guys would appreciate the help and wouldn't mind at all having you hop in and be a co-caster.
And who knows, we might even see not Chewbacca participate in one of these tournaments coming up. Who knows?
He didn't get a lifetime ban.
No, we will allow him back in if he desires to do so. He might have to come in under an alias instead of Chewbacca 5, as he may be too famous. People might be a little too scared to play against the big scary monster.
I'm just kidding, Shu. We love you. Yeah, that's anything you want to plug while we got you here, Moke? Other than Low Elo Legends, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. If you want to see me play Dungeons and Dragons, I cast on my buddy Memester casts our games on normally on Wednesdays, which it got canceled today. It's tough to get all six people together for D&D consistently. That and then yeah, so like it's Neemster Neemster on Twitch, and then my other buddy Tolang1 on Twitch casts our Call of Cthulhu game on Sundays, which it's a tabletop role playing game, but unlike Dungeons and Dragons where it's like fantasy wizards and barbarians smashing things and blowing stuff up, it's like 1920s cosmic horror. Like it's a bunch of regular people basically trying not to go insane while the world around them gets more and more ridiculous. It's kind of an interesting alternative to playing D&D.
Gotcha. Sounds interesting. So yeah, if any of you out there want to end up checking it out, or maybe get a group yourself and start a campaign or start a whatever it may be called for the Cthulhu, then to go ahead and check out some of that stream.
Yeah, I mean we get like 2 viewers.
Hey.
So if anybody watches, we'll be like doubling our viewership.
There we go.
Alrighty. Well, Dabston, anything else for you?
No. I think obviously plan on casting Low Elo Legends Saturday, and other than that, just jumping back on streaming now that I've taken a week off from having my vacation.
All right, so you're all vacationed out, back to the grind for you.
And work and stream.
Yep.
That's right. All right, well, that'll do it for us tonight. Maybe come back next week, depending on what happens at Gamescom. I'm sure we'll want to talk about what happens there. So, might not be Wednesday, maybe Thursday, Friday. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see y'all later. And thanks for watching, and thanks to you two for hopping on.
Yep.
Yeah. Sign up for Low Elo Legends, everybody.
Yes, everybody.
There you go. Later.
Cheers, guys.